Gali. Galimera, Galispera, Galinichta, no matter where in this wild, wacky, and wonderful world you might be. Thank you for making the Highbury Squad part of your day. I promised you as many live shows as possible between now and the end of the season. And the Tuesday-ish Club is back with a very special guest and Super Kev. Here we go. Mind the gap between the train and the platform. Please stand clear of the discussion doors. The next stop is Highbury Squad. And girls, good morning, no matter where in the world you are. Thanks for making us part of your day, of course. And if you're listening on replay, some of you will be. In some countries, you can watch the football tonight. If you're in England, I don't think you can watch the football on the telly tonight. But those listening on our audio platforms and replay, thank you so much for joining. Once again, back my podcast brother from another mother who's ready to go into battle here with that lifesaver this evening, Mr. Super Kevin Campbell.
Squaddies! We've got a short and sharp show, so let's go at ease.
Totally correct. And joining us is one of our favourites. He's back for another round in Squad Central. Broadcaster, journalist extraordinaire, Mr. Jordan Jarrett Bryan. Welcome back to Squad Central.
Good evening, good morning, wherever in the world you are. How are we all doing?
Amazingly well. Super Kev does look like he's ready to just brock some necks, like for real,
ready for
Kev.
War, isn't he? I like it.
Yeah, Kev.
I got some grenades about here. Trust me.
He's ready to rock.
I've got some grenades. I'm getting ready for the weekend, guys. Trust me.
I love it.
Absolutely love it. Good evening to all the usual suspects back in the house. Squaddies, Mark's here, Matty K's here, Matthew's here. Unfortunately, Newman is here. Ian's here, Trev's here. Not really Newman. I didn't actually mean that. Kind of feel bad. Maybe I don't. Ayushman's here. Everyone's here. Let's get stuck into it. Right. There has been so much to the Arsenal this season, Jordan. There are lots of narratives, threads, arcs, especially for us storytellers. And there's a lot of credit going to Mikel Arteta, and rightly so. But I wanted to take a beat as we're in between games here, and we'll get your prediction on Liverpool at the end of the show. But I wanted to just kind of take a beat because Super Kev and I have been trying to illustrate over the last maybe couple of years why we need patience, or why maybe the Kroenkes aren't as bad as we think. Although we have also heavily criticized them for some of the faux pas that they have made, right? So I wanted to talk to you this evening, having covered the club. You talk about it on the Forever Arsenal podcast, and all of the stuff that you're seeing and the people you're talking to on the ground. The total control part, is that really when the Kroenkes became more engaged in Arsenal? Is that when Arsenal's evolution really kicked in 2018? And do you buy into that? Is that fair or foul of me to say we have to we have to kind of look at that and say when they became owners of the club, that's when really they took control of Arsenal and their plan and their strategy?
Well, first of all, I hope that me and Kev can get on this time. Because the last time I came on your fantastic podcast, me and Kevin, we didn't agree on much, and we fell out, didn't we? We fell out. It was arms house, as we say in South London. Our team's doing well now, so hopefully we can pod in harmony. I think it's a fair assertion to make, Sophie. I think that the timings will tell us that when they did take full control of the club, that the narrative that's when they decided to really take things more seriously. The timing seems to be in their favor in terms of it worked with that narrative. It's hard to dispute the fact that when they took over the majority or an entire share of the club, that's when we saw an upward trajectory in, I wouldn't even say success, but in a sense that this ownership now finally want to make the club successful, not only financially, but actually on the pitch as well. I think the ownership have been rightly pillared over the years. I don't think we should, just because we're now in a good period and things are looking up, we should ignore the fact that we were rightfully critical and wanted them out for a long period. We pay our season tickets are the most expensive in the world of any football club. When you're paying for a premium service or a premium product, that doesn't guarantee you success and trophies. but it should guarantee that at least the people you're paying your money to treats your money in a way that shows us they're attempting to try and gain success. That's what it should guarantee. No team, that has the right to kind of claim trophies, but I think we were right to protest and to just show our ire towards them. But now, let's be fair. In the last 3 or 4 years, in terms of their appointments of managers, I think Unai Emery was a good appointment. It didn't work out for various reasons, but he's an elite manager. And now with Arteta, with the signings that have come in, they've backed Arteta not only with the incomings, but also with the outgoings. They've lost money on the likes of Ozil, Mustafi, and Aubameyang, to name 3, Lacazette as well, to name 4. I think they do deserve credit now. And I think that the timing of, as you say, when they took over the club, does suit their narrative, that they would say, well, now we're serious. Now we have the club entirely to ourselves. Now we're going to really go for it. I think it's now about sustainability. Let's win this league, first of all. I'm sure we'll get to that chat in a little bit. But let's win this league. But then for me, it's about, I don't want to win one league in 5. I don't want to be in the top 4 1 year in a few. I want to be in the top 4 every year. I want to be competing for titles every year. We might not win the title every year, but I want this sort of season most years. And that is where I think the real work starts. Not just one great year. Let's maintain that over the next 4, 5, 6, 7 years.
I like that bit that you said at the end, because I think as fans, it's important, and you look at it, Kev, from a cyclical point of view, right? Liverpool 30 years, us 20 years, Manchester United now more recently. How long has it been for them now? 8 years. And since they've won the title too. And I think for some fans, really kind of being able to get behind the Kroenkes, just to riff off what Jordan said, is like, it can't just be a one-off. It has to be a long-term investment. And I think when you see how they've run their sports teams in the US, and sometimes I get pelters for this because they're like, you can't compare the two. You can compare sports owners. And right now, I think that they're one of the best owners in the Premier League. Kev, when was the turning point for you? Was it what we just talked about with Jordan, when they took full control, or was it when we removed players for free? When you're a billionaire sports owner, you don't like giving up anything when you're not getting your ROI. Do you think that's really when they put all their muscle behind Edu and Mikel, when they got rid of the Aubameyangs and the Ozils and they weren't afraid to write that off as a bad debt?
No, I think them taking ownership was the first and most important move. Then obviously they had to work out who was going to be the captain of the ship, of manager. And as Jordan rightly said, Emery is a good manager. For whatever reason, look, there's loads of people who would say this, that, the other. For whatever reason, it didn't quite work out at the time. But under their stewardship, they went and got Mikel Arteta. Everybody knows he's a novice, but they went with a plan and they stuck to it. And whatever it took, they were going to back him. And we had to pay players, as you know. We didn't like it. Transfer windows weren't as fancy as we would have liked. We didn't sign anybody 2 Januaries ago, which probably could have cost us, Champions League football, etc., etc. Remember, there was demonstrations. What was it? 2 years ago. So we have to weigh it all up and say, the Kroenkes haven't had it easy since they've took full control. But what they have done, they have stuck to their guns. They've stuck the belief behind Mikel Arteta. And if you keep doing the correct things all the time, your luck will change. And that's what's happened.
Go on, Jordan.
And I think so. That is the point. That is the point of thing that Kev makes there. Let's not be be blind to facts here. The club, the fan base, nobody expected this season to be a season that we compete for the title. Nobody. Anyone that says that they did is a liar. The club most certainly were not setting up for a title challenge. But what Kevin says there nails it. I think that what the club have done really well is they've set up the club and the team to be in a position whereby, if so happens, the other big hitters fall off, as has happened with Chelsea and Liverpool, we are in a position to be able to pounce and take advantage. Everyone's saying, oh, it's going to be a caveat, not caveat, it's going to be an asterisk season. You only win it because the big boys are rubbish. And I'm like, well, first of all, that's their problem. If Chelsea want to be rubbish, Liverpool would have a year off, that's not our problem. But second of all, it's not luck. It's about preparing to be successful. They were preparing to be in the top 4 because they expected Chelsea to be in the mix. They expected Liverpool to be in the mix, City, and maybe United or Spurs, and we can be in that kind of bum fight there. But what's happened is, in preparing to be the best they can be, they've now found themselves in a position where they're like, you know what, we're actually top. And I don't care why Chelsea are doing poorly. I don't care why Liverpool are doing poorly. We are handling our business, and we are in a position now whereby we can be successful. I don't want to bring up that team down the road too much, but that's where, for me, that's where they're failing. They've not given themselves a chance to be successful because they don't really have a long-term plan. These guys have got a long-term plan that it's coming early, a year or two early. But I think because of that plan, we're now positioned in a place whereby we can capitalize on the fact that Liverpool and Chelsea, are having seemingly a year off.
Go on, Kev.
And Jordan, when the noise was at its greatest, with the fan base not happy with the owners, with the fan base not happy with the manager, what did they do? They battened down the hatches, kept their feet firmly on the ground, and they said, we're still moving forward with our plan. There was no deviation. There was no, maybe we should think about sacking Arteta. No, this is the plan, and we're gonna dive the plan. And they've done that, and we're the beneficiaries of continuity. That's what we are. We've allowed the manager, Edu, and the backroom staff to do things in the right and proper way. We've brought players in. Some fans didn't like the names of the players that were coming in. But that just goes to show what fans know. Fans don't know it all. Fans want a competitive... That goes for you too, so. Fans want... What we all want is a competitive team, don't we? We want a team that we can love, who goes out there every week and has a fight. And you know what? We won't always win, but they always give their all. And sometimes that's all we can do. And you know what? This season, adding Zinchenko and Jesus to the mix has changed the mindset in that dressing room. The focus is one of, we've got to be winners.
Kev,
and that's why we are where we are.
Our culture as a club hasn't been to sack man. That's Chelsea's culture, right? The reason why I kind of wanted to talk about this with you and Jordan tonight in particular was I was just sitting there and seeing what's happening at Chelsea, how much they've invested. And maybe it's because there's been a culture change in ownership, but that managerial revolving door may have finally come to bite them in the butt. But it's a strategy that has yielded a tremendous amount of success for them. That's not been our culture, Jordan. So if anything, Mikel Arteta benefited from not only maybe how the Kroenkes like to do business. If you look at how they handled Sean McVeigh and the LA Rams, how they've slowly built the burn back up with the Denver Nuggets this year, who can go on and win the NBA, what they did with the Colorado Avalanche last year, what they even done with their lacrosse team, who ended up winning a national championship. That you guys are right. You're there for the slow burn, but also they've carried on the culture of Arsenal, have they not? Where we just don't fire people, and that for us, has been a lucky thing.
Totally, I think that he's been the beneficiary of the fact that he's joined a club that, bar Emre, don't really fire managers very quickly. I mean, I'm going to die on this till the day that I die. I wanted Mikel Arteta when Wenger left. I was the only person on the planet that was saying Mikel Arteta should be coming in now, and everybody laughed at me, and rightfully so. I get it. He was a novice. He was a coach at Manchester City. He had no experience of managing. Why would you go from a legend of a manager to a complete novice? I get it, but I'd heard very good things about him. And at that point, for me personally, we were at rock bottom. So for me, it was a case of when you're at rock bottom, you might as well gamble. You got nothing to lose, so you might as well gamble. So I'm going to dine out on that to the day that I die. But what I'm really pleased about is that when it was at its worst, and I know, trust me, I am. And when we're in the league this year, I'm going to be like, I'm going to be on Twitter. I wanted Arteta from 3, 4, 5 years ago. My man.
Are you the one who's keeping all the receipts then, Jordan?
Oh, don't worry about that. I've got some receipts.
They're dodgy receipts, so.
Kev's got a ton.
Of course he has. But what I think the key was that he won the FA Cup in his first year. Because even I as an Arteta fan, let's not be again blind to the facts here. There was a point whereby he could arguably be and maybe should have been fired. There was a period where it was like this guy, akin maybe a little bit to Graham Potter, it looked like he was out of his depth. But when a guy wins a trophy that early, he's shown the fan base and he's shown the media and he's shown the hierarchy, I can get over the line. I'm having a bad time now, but I've shown you I can get a trophy in the bag. And I think that is what the club lent on when he was going through his tough times. So I'm glad that they've tapped into their culture of sticking with the guy, because now they're yielding the rewards of that.
Yeah, it definitely bought him a lot of love coupons, and rightly so, you know. And I actually think that may have escalated his personal vision in terms of, forget the club have a plan, but as a manager, you know, they're following his strategic plan, goals, objectives. I think it escalated what he thought he could achieve in the Premier League once he won the FA Cup, Kev.
And listen, I'll tell you one thing, and one thing that hasn't got mentioned, and I've got to mention it: playing in empty stadiums.
Yeah, definitely.
That really, I think it absolutely hurt Arsenal. Whereas at home, we went through one of our worst ever home records for so many years to an empty stadium. And I know people have been critical of the Emirates at that time, saying it's like a library, etc. But when you're a manager and you want to connect the team with the fan base, and there's no fan base there, it's very difficult sometimes. So he's had to deal with a lot of things that's gone on off the pitch, which he can't control. But if we're honest, the way he's built this squad, the way he's connected the fan base to the team, and the way the club, everybody's moving in the right direction. Obviously, there's still a few who moan, but you're going to get that, aren't you? But for me, the job that's being done right now is one we all hoped would happen. And yeah, you know, he was on the trapdoor 100% at certain times. But like any good ownership, you never make knee-jerk reactions. You stick to what you got to do and you see it through. And that's what's happened. And do you know what? I'm really proud of everybody at Arsenal, everybody in the background, the manager. Everybody's much maligned from the fan base, because let's be honest, as a fan base, we've gone through some pain. We have gone through some pain. And pain isn't not... Everybody handles pain differently. Some people lash out. Some people keep quiet. Some people just, can't take it. We've had tough times. And
Sophie, sorry, just to your point about culture as well. You spoke about Chelsea's culture and Arsenal's culture. I think that's really, really relevant. And what I'm not liking, and I kind of did it earlier on to contradict my next point, but what I don't like is this. I don't like when people say Graham Potter should have been kept in a job, because look at what Arsenal are doing. Their guy went through tough times. They stuck with him. I think it's a bit of a false equivalence.
Jordan!
Go on.
We wanted him in.
They should have left him there.
Well, I'm with you there, Kev. I'm with you there for sure. But the reason why I didn't like the comparison with, but they've got a young manager, they stuck with Arsenal, look at Arsenal, is one, because their culture is different. So it's not an equal comparison. But second of all, just because one club has a young manager that went through tough times and now is having good times, that shouldn't necessarily be the blueprint for everybody else. If Todd Boehly, and obviously he's fired him now, but if Todd Boehly felt that, you know what, I did give this young manager, well, he's not young, but this up-and-come manager at that level a chance, but actually I've made an error, he shouldn't be forced to stick with Graham Potter just because people are saying, well, look at Arsenal, look at Arteta, because what's right for us might not be right for them. So I hate this kind of comparison of they should stick with Potter just because it's working at Arsenal. We're two different clubs with two different circumstances. So I never liked that kind of comparison.
I think it is different. Like I said at the top of the show, the cultures are just different. And I'm not sure if that is going to be a culture that's ever going to work for them, but it's certainly
No.
one that has worked, for us. I want to ask you guys this, because the eighth season and then losing to Emery in the semi-final, and that was when Kev kind of talked about, and you loosely a little bit, Jordan, of, at what point was he teetering on that? And I think after the Emery loss, the man that he replaced was that one moment where I definitely started questioning it, was that. And then the following season, the way we started. Who's responsible? Because this is where I want to get into your heads with the owners. Because of course, we saw this era and how Arteta came in, and, we saw Ivan leave, and then Josh really kind of getting stuck in and getting involved in the Arsenal and being given the reins by Dad. And Emery didn't unfortunately get the same backing. He didn't have the same hierarchy who had a backbone to really, and I think his vision was just not Mikel's, right? But look what's happening at Aston Villa. He's been given the tools there. It's working. We'll see how that goes long term. Who's really responsible for keeping the faith in Arteta? Is it Adu convincing the owners, Jordan and Kev? Is it the owners? Is it Josh? Because he kept his job, but who's responsible for that?
All of the above.
Kev, you go first.
All of the above. All of the above. Edu's going to back the manager because they see the same vision. But it's the money people. The money people make the big decisions. Stan and Josh Kroenke, you've got to say, again, much maligned, come under a lot of scrutiny, but they're the ones who have to say, we're going to stick with him. And in that documentary, you saw when the fire got very high and the flame was burning, you saw that moment where Josh said to Mikel, "You're all right. We got this." That little moment means a lot. I'm sure it meant a hell of a lot to Mikel Arteta to hear from somebody so close to the owner, the owner's son, saying, "It's all right, man. We got this. We're back here." And probably from that moment on, he got galvanized. So again, Edu would back Mikel Arteta anyway because they've got the plan. And don't forget, Sophie, do you remember when Edu came out and done that interview speaking about
with Sky?
Yeah. And he said that there's different phases and all that. And
the
a lot of
world-class
people
player
didn't like it. Some liked it, some didn't. But he was only telling the truth because we are actually ahead of the curve, aren't we, right now? We are ahead of the curve, which if you've got any plan, if you're ahead of the curve, you're doing well.
Yeah. Go on, Jordan.
I think it's a bit of a cop-out answer, but I agree. Well, it is because I agree with Kev. I think all of them deserve equal.
Wait, are you
credit.
saying Kev's answer is a cop-out?
Well, yeah, but I agree with it.
Oh, okay, all right, okay, so fine, okay, just making sure.
Because you wanted one name, but I'm like, I don't think you can give all the credit.
The ownership, I said, Jordan, don't try that one.
Oh, did you?
I said the ownership.
Sorry. I thought you meant the Edu, Arteta.
No, I said Edu will back the manager anyway. So you've got to look at the ownership.
Okay. Well, in that case, I disagree with Kevin then. So I think I would give equal credit because the ownership obviously set the standard, and they're the ones that are cutting the checks to ensure that stuff gets done. But the manager is the one that obviously has to really implement the culture that is set from the top. And if that culture isn't implemented, I mean, sorry to bring them up again, but at Chelsea, we're seeing that when the ownership aren't aligned with the manager, you end up losing 2 managers in 7 months. They've all got to be on the same page. Now, when it all goes wrong, we know who goes, who leaves. But that's still an L for the ownership because they've got to A, pay that guy off, and B, they've got to now bring in the next guy to resurrect what the previous guy messed up on. So I think the praise should be spread equally. Arteta is getting all the credit, and rightfully so, but he's only allowed to do what he's allowed to do. The ownership have backed him financially. They've allowed him to let Aubameyang go. They've allowed him to let Ozil go. Give me one sec, Kev. One sec. We can big up Arteta all day long, but if he was under a different ownership, would he have been allowed to have said to the boss, Aubameyang, get him out, get him out. I don't care what it costs, get him out. Another ownership might have said, no, are you mad? That's going to cost us 10 mil. Ozil, get him out, get him out. Are you mad? But the ownership said, okay, if that's what you think is the betterment, is for the betterment of this club overall, we will write that money off and we will back you. So I think the ownership and the management have to share equal credit, because if it goes wrong, for me, they've got to share equal blame. Kev's not having it.
No, I'm shaking my head, Jordan.
I'm having a night off tonight. It's lovely here.
Jordan, I'm shaking my head because the question implied that Mikel Arteta surviving, who gets the plaudits. Mikel Arteta, you can't give that decision to Mikel Arteta.
I misunderstood the question.
Yeah.
I misunderstood the question. Sorry. Kevin's right then. Sorry, I misunderstood the question. I thought you were asking which element of the hierarchy are to be credited for the success
for what's going on now.
For example, I can picture a conversation where Josh goes, to Edu and says, "Listen, is this guy all right? I mean, And I can see Josh in his brain, like tick, tick, tick. Sean McVeigh took us to a Super Bowl. We lost. We stuck with him. We had faith in him. We let him rebuild. We threw the kitchen sink, which I feel there's a little bit of a pattern here that has followed what they've done with the Rams. I know it's different sports, guys. I'm just talking about philosophy and sticking with someone. So look, I know we've got a few minutes here, so I wanted to cram a few other bits in. Okay, all right, okay. Because the other thing too is, I know they talk about, look what's happening at Chelsea right now with the owner. Look what's happening at Liverpool, Manchester United. I know Manchester United, I don't know what's going to happen with them. Liverpool, a little bit less so, but I think they had a PR faux pas really when they came out at first talking about selling, then it was investment. I think they bumbled their communications there just a little bit. So just to ask you the obvious question that I've kind of been building towards, are the Kroenkes... Now, this is the second time I'm asking this question on the show. I asked it a few months ago, and a lot of Arsenal fans agreed with us, Jordan, and some still felt like they needed to see a little bit what you're seeing. Now, you talked about the trajectory and what you wanted at the very top of the show, but just an answer to answer the question: are they the best owners in the Premier League right now, or one of? Who is a better owner than them in the Premier League?
I think, and this is a bit of a convoluted answer to the question, but I think the best owners are the ones that have implemented what the mission is. So if you're an ownership that don't really care about success on the pitch, but want to make money, and you're making money, then you're good owners. If you're Roman Abramovich who doesn't care about the money, but wants trophies, and you get trophies back, then you're a good owner. I think it's about, what do the owners want? Do they want to make money? Do they want to sports wash? Do they want to win trophies? What is their desire, and what is coming back? Our ownership is doing really well right now, because I imagine they're not only on the verge of getting a big trophy, but they're probably making money as well. I never understand when people don't understand the fact that, or owners don't understand, if you spend money on a football team and that team does well, you're going to make money. You're going to make money. So why would you not want to invest in your team to try and make that team on the pitch successful? Because if you're successful on the pitch, you're much more likely to make money off of it as well.
But some teams do invest money, guys, and they invest it poorly. And we've done that.
On them. Well, then that's on them. So you need to get the best in class to ensure, are you appointing the best coaches, the best physios, the best players, the best managers, to kind of get the best overall outcome as well. So who the best owners in the league are, for me at this point, I would say Brentford. I think Brentford have the best owners in the Premier League. I think what they're doing on their budget and where they've come from to where they are right now, I just think it's a joke. Their recruitment policy, the exit strategy for players, Brighton are another team as well that I would credit.
Yeah.
I think what they have to what they're achieving, they are massively overachieving, more than us. We're doing very well, but let's not pretend like we're not spending big dough.
But we're expected to win. So the pressure on us is far greater than Brighton and Brentford, who are doing a lovely job right now in the Premier League. It's totally different for the Arsenal. If we don't win this year, Jordan, we better be prepared with our shields, because they're going to come, and they're going to come fierce.
Let me ask you and Kevin then. Is Arsenal being in the top 4 or /top 2 considering who we are, is that a bigger achievement than Brighton being on the cusp of the Champions League?
Bigger achievement?
Yeah.
No, it's not. It's not a
Of
bigger
course it
achievement.
is. Brighton were in Division 10. Like
No,
8
I'm
years
saying
ago.
it's not. I'm saying Arsenal
Oh,
being
okay,
in the
okay,
top
okay.
4 is not a bigger achievement than
Oh,
Brighton.
okay, all right. Let me calm down.
You're ready to
Listen,
jump down
Jordan,
my throat.
are you
Listen,
listening
you see, you've got to
tonight?
listen. If you ask the question, listen.
Journalist extraordinaire.
Allow me,
Wants to
Kevin.
jump
Allow
on
me.
for some reason. Relax.
Allow me. Sorry.
Do you see though what's happening to us, Kev? We're all like inside. We're
No,
like
Jordan is. I'll tell you that much.
no, but Jordan, I feel like I'm feeling Jordan because like deep down inside, I'm like listening, but I'm there. I'm here. Tony was talking to me this morning and I had to like tell a white lie again because I was just thinking about like the game at the weekend.
9
Where I
games
should have
to
been
go.
thinking about our restoration hardware delivery this afternoon, you know?
Oh, jeez.
So let me ask you guys, who do you guys think the best owners in the league are then?
I think currently, okay.
With an asterisk, Man City's.
Yeah, with an asterisk because
Yeah,
they've
yeah.
consistently invested in the team for them to perform over and over. It's a disgusting asterisk. I'm not going to even put an asterisk on that. I'm not going to say them. I think we are one of the best owners in the Premier League. Come at me, everyone. I really don't care.
No, 100% so.
I believe that, you know what? If you love that Mikel Arteta is manager of the Arsenal Football Club, thank the Kroenkes.
But so I don't think we can say that after one brilliant year.
No,
let's not forget.
it's not one brilliant year. Last season was great. Last season was great. We got back into Europe. I never killed the team for finishing 5th and getting into the Europa League. You know, that was the season before where I was losing my marbles. But to understand and then really kind of take a beat and say, okay, all right, I'm going to lose my marbles as a fan if I just don't take a chill pill here. But that was a great season. I know it ended poorly. It ended so bad.
Arsenal finishing Europe for me doesn't warrant credit.
No, but it's the stepping stone, right? Even me, crazy me, it's the stepping stone. Look at this year. If we don't win the Premier League, I'm going to be very disappointed that we didn't close the deal. And that's the question I'm asking you, Jordan. It will be, I think, in order for Arsenal to truly evolve as a club and be Arsenal 2.0, we have to win the Premier League. And it's not me throwing my toys out the pram, as I think for Arsenal Football Club to earn all of the respect back, that's what has to happen.
No,
agree or disagree?
I agree with that. But I don't think over a period of 3-4 years, the job the Kroenkes have done is a better job than, say, at Brighton, Brentford, City. I think there's a few clubs I would put ahead of Arsenal.
Is that comparing apples and oranges, though?
Because no, I think expectations for Arsenal should be competitive. We're now where we should be. Brighton shouldn't be 5th, wherever they are, or 6th. Brighton shouldn't be anywhere near the top half of the table. They shouldn't be anywhere near it.
Agree.
They could get 4th. They could genuinely get 4th.
Listen, they got rid of their manager who's done so much for them. They've become better and they lost how many players? They're like Southampton. They lose great players who've gone on to do really good things and they keep turning. It's unbelievable what they've done. It really is. Okay, I know I said one of, I never said the. If I said the best, I said one of the best. No, they're already going at me in the chat. Okay, I'm going to ask you, we're going to play quick fire, oh my word, because we've mentioned a few names and I want to get one word, before we get your Liverpool prediction, one word that describes them. Okay, here we go. Quick fire, oh my word. Aubameyang.
Wasted talent.
That's 2 words.
There's a hyphen between the two, so it's one word.
Listen, Andrew Mangan, aka Arsblog, played this brilliantly last week. Jordan, come on, one word.
Sorry.
Waster.
Waster, yeah. That's harsh.
Kev, one word for Aubameyang.
X.
Ooh.
I like that. Who are you thinking of there, Kev?
He's our ex-striker, so he's an X. So
yeah, he is.
Why don't matter.
We'll put them both up. What about Ozil, Jordan?
Overrated.
Wow, nice. Okay.
Sorry, if I could just expand.
Yeah.
Briefly,
Go on. Yeah. Of course.
I think the kind of rewriting of history of Mesut Ozil's time at Arsenal is embarrassing by the fan base. He was at Arsenal for 7 years, I think it was. He gave us, in my opinion, a combined 2 good years. 2 good years he gave us. That, for me, for a record signing of 42.5 million, that's a flop. I would argue, bar Pepe, that's our worst ever signing. That's our worst. People kind of, I think the idea of Mesut Ozil was better than the reality of what he actually did. Insanely talented player, but in terms of what he delivered, he was a flop. And the Arsenal fan base kind of talk about him like, and I'm like, we're watching the same player for like 7 years that just didn't turn up. Literally, sometimes didn't turn up. In game, didn't really. Sorry.
The one highlight of your Arsenal career, if you're Ozil, can't be against Ludogorets. I'm sorry, it just cannot.
No.
Kev, what's your one word for a Mesut?
Wasted.
Wasted. That's a good one. Josh Kroenkes, Jordan.
Learning.
Like that. Kev?
Smart.
Yeah, I like Josh. Come on. This is the episode where I've invited everyone to lob the pelters over. Okay, what about Edu? How about a bit of sugar for Edu, Jordan? What's your one word?
My one word for Edu. I would say growth. I think he and his time at the club, I've seen a growth in trajectory of improvement. I think he has grown. I think the club has grown under his leadership. There's been a couple errors, but generally, I've seen the club going in the right direction under his leadership.
Mark's was barbecue.
That's more than bloody one word.
Kevin, I love Jordan. Jordan's having a stellar night. I love it. It's one of his most legendary.
Sorry, I'm having a Western super. I am.
Big time. My word is astute.
Astute. Very nice. Very nice, Super Kev. I like that. And because Jordan hasn't given us his one word on Mikel, Kev gets to do Mikel every time we ask someone. But Jordan, what is your one word for Mikel?
One word for Mikel would be ruthless. I think he's a ruthless manager, a ruthless coach with standards. I would say ruthless. I think that is why he's got to where he's got Arsenal so far. He's just been very unrelenting. Unrelenting. That's a better word.
Oh, that's a good word. Unrelenting. Yeah, I like that. Super Kev, your word for this week for Mikel? Quality. Excellent. And we can't let Jordan go without asking him for maybe, I've been inundated with requests, Jordan, to ask you to give us your thoughts on this fella.
You set me up.
For those listening on audio, yes, it's Xhaka. Kev wants to hear it. Come on.
Listen, I said on Forever Arsenal pod that for me, he is in our top 3 players of the year. That's a hard 3 to kind of knuckle down this year. There's been so much brilliant players. He's been brilliant this year. He's been absolutely brilliant. I think he had a bit of a dip post World Cup. He's picked up a little bit the last 3 or 4 games. But up until the World Cup, he was, I would argue, our best player. I think he was brilliant. So I'm not a hater, but you know what it is? I'm not saying his name because if I'm scared if I say it now, he'll tail off. So on behalf of all the Arsenal fans, I'm going to keep not saying his name. And I just think that the tradition will continue until the 9 games are done. When he lifts it, I will be saying it all over the place. But for now, I can't do it. So I can't do it.
Kev and I were talking last week about if we win it, how many Arsenal babies will be born in 9 months after the fact, right? And we were talking about popular names. Bukayo, I think, will be the number 1 name. Then Kev threw in Mikel, which I was like, I wasn't even thinking of Mikel. And then what about Granit? Little Granit Xhakas.
What about Josh?
Nah, boring. Josh is boring. Go on, say Granit Xhaka one time for Super Kev.
I can't do it.
No, don't let him. Don't break the. Yeah.
Okay, let's not break it.
Can't break the curse.
All right, Liverpool.
Don't say it.
Let's get your Liverpool predictions in because Super Kev. We need your prediction, Kev, and we need your prediction, Jordan. Liverpool this weekend. You've seen the team that Klopp picked this evening, benching everyone, ruthless from Klopp as well. What do you think? What are you thinking, Jordan? Are we finally going to break another duck up there?
Yeah, we are. Yeah, we are. I've been saying for about 3 or 4 weeks we're going to win this game. I haven't got any kind of real insightful analysis as to why on this one. It's just a gut. I've had a gut feeling for a few weeks. We're gonna get smashed 4-0 now. But I've had a gut feeling for a few weeks that we're going to win this one. The City game, excuse me, the City one, I'm not sure about. I'm less confident in that one. Even the Newcastle one, I'm less confident in that one. But for some reason, excuse me, I'm really confident we'll win this game. I mean, it's probably the last time I'm on your fantastic pod between now and the end of the season. I just think if we can go there and beat Liverpool, and it won't be easy. Liverpool at home are still very, very good. They're a mess away, but they're very good at home. If we can go there and beat Liverpool, so for me, and I'm going to say early, I think we're in the territory of one hand on the title, because then we give ourselves a nice buffer of being able to drop points in a couple of games and still be ahead of City. So I think we will win. I'm not being a deluded Arsenal fan. I think we will win against Liverpool. I said them for Arsenal. I think I said 2-1. I think we'll beat them 2-1. And I believe that. I think we need to go there and just step up. Win, lose or draw, Sophie and Kev. My big one from the team is go in there and conduct yourselves like the league leaders. Conduct yourself like the champions elect. Don't go in there and cower to the Anfield crowd. We saw in the documentary, we were mocked for Mikel Arteta having the speaker blaring in the audio of "You'll Never Walk Alone," and we got mocked for that. Well, let's see if it actually works. Let's see if that actually ends up working. Because for me, this is the game where we can send a statement out and really let the league know we're winning this league. So whatever, win, lose or draw, just don't let yourselves down. Don't go away from the things that have got you this far. Compete, be strong, compete. If you go 1-0 down late on, it's not over. If you go 1-0 down early, it's not over. I just want my team on Sunday to just compete. Just go there and conduct yourselves like the league leaders we are. Don't cower. Don't step up and get it done. But I think we win 2-1.
Super Kev.
My is the same. I put 2-1 up before, as you were saying the thing. I think Arsenal would win. Again, we've got to go there and punch them in the mouth. You know, at Anfield, you can't just go there and be timid. You've got to go there with an aggression. Our away form is great. Yes. So what have we got to worry about? It's Liverpool at Anfield. Yes. We haven't won there in a while, but you know what? It's about time we did.
Yeah, Kevin. Also, I really believe it when Saka said in his sideline pitch interview, that for the first time in years, I feel like we have a team that doesn't fear anybody. And that is massive. And that mental side of it hopefully will help us break a duck at Anfield the same way we did against Spurs twice this season too. Brilliant stuff from the lads this evening. Jordan, are we going to win it all? And what is your final thought? Because we let everyone give us their final thought before they depart Squad Central. What do you want the squaddies to know before you go?
I think we will win it. I didn't call it until about a month ago. I think the Everton win was the win where I was like, we're going to win the league. I saw something in us. So I'm not just, again, being like a biased Arsenal fan. I think we will win it. My final comment, I've got lots of comments, but it kind of goes back to something that Kevin said. I've got lots, we'll be here all night. But it goes back to something that Kevin said earlier on. What did you say? You said something about having our akin to, we've got our team back. And look, if we come second, I don't think whoever comes second, it'll be by a couple of points. I don't think it will be a massive gap. We could win most of our games, lose at Liverpool, lose at City, and lose the league by a couple of points. There's no shame in that. What for me is important is that I've got my Arsenal back. Most people, and rightfully so, you could say, want their team is winning the most important thing. It's sport. I get it. But for me, I don't know about you two, I didn't enjoy watching Arsenal for the best part of a decade. The last 4 or 5 years of Wenger, most of Emery's time, and a lot of Arteta's early couple of years, I didn't enjoy watching my team play. For the first time in a long time, I'm just enjoying at 3 o'clock or 12:30, wherever it is, I'm enjoying watching my team play. I want to win. Let's have it right. I want to win. I don't want to come second. But the bigger picture for me is when I pay my money, I know that I'm going to watch a team that's competitive. There's players that I like. There's a manager that I like. The fan base are seem to be supporting the club. I mean, if we capitulate, we'll see how they turn then. But everything is going the way that I want it to go. So yes, let's win this Premier League because it'll be harder next year. But almost as important for me is as winning the Premier League is look at Tottenham. They hate watching their team. Look at Chelsea. They hate watching their team. Liverpool, they're not enjoying watching their team playing. For me, football as a fan is about entertainment. It's about enjoying what you're seeing. As a player, as Kevin will tell you, it's about winning. You take 38 1-0 wins, no problem. But so for me as a football fan, I don't get a goal bonus. I don't get a medal. I don't get a trophy. I don't get any of that. So give me memories. Give me moments that I can say over the 38 games, we came second, but you know what? I enjoyed it. It was fun. That's all I asked for.
I love that. I'm all about the journey this season too, trying to soak up every minute, every moment. Give me memories, give me moments. I love that line. It's just perfection because we can remember where we were in our life when we say, oh, you know what? In 89, I remember it was a Friday night, me, my dad, my uncle Zach. You know, I mean, we just know, you know, the World Cup in was it 78? I remember being at a Greek wedding. I was 7 years old. Everyone sitting in a VW with this little television screen, just trying to watch, you know, the game, and it just goes on and on and on, Kev. And it's players like you that give us moments, you know, where we can say, even in our darkest days, at least, you know, we got 4 FA Cups, and it kept those little fires burning. But we all know it's the big one we're going to be judged by. And as fans, we want it bad.
Yeah, well, you know what, Jordan? You can have your memories. I want to win. I want to win silverware.
He looked so mean when he said that.
No, because you know what? The memories are so much better when you win trophies.
Of course.
Oh, no, but we want to win as well, Kev.
No. Jordan said, let me
Jordan's
quote.
Having
Jordan
a mare.
I said, as important.
I don't mind finishing. I want to win it, which he did say. He said, but I don't mind finishing second because I've enjoyed good memories. Bollocks! Second is nowhere. Yeah, you look back on the season and think, we've missed a massive opportunity. We don't want that. We don't want that. Second isn't even in our vocabulary, guys. So, Jordan, at the end of the season, let's see where you are. Hopefully, we're on the parade and you can say, why did I make such a stupid statement? Come on, guys, we want to win it.
I'll take it back.
Yeah, we want to win it. And after that, listen, we're getting the memories as the season goes, but we've got to win it now. We've got to win.
No, you're right.
We do. Right. We've got to win it now. Albert, you just got here in time for the brocking of the neck. I mean, you know, just great stuff. I mean, I know what you were talking about, Jordan, because we've gone so long without winning the Premier League. We're just, I mean, look at this it leaves me speechless because I'm like, wow, we're like, it means something because it's felt like so much like American sports. There's been no jeopardy for us. It's been nothing in the Premier League for years. Finish fourth. So the memories part, Kev, add the winning to the cake, the icing right there. That's it. That's all we got time for today, people. Jordan, let everyone know where they can find you.
Thanks for having me. You can find me on Instagram. My name is Jordan Jarrett Bryan. I'm on Twitter _Jordan J Bryan with a Y. And check out my platform, Blackademic, again, BLAKADEMIK on Instagram, on Twitter, and YouTube as well.
Look forward to all of the messages. We're going to have to do a part 2 of this because the YouTube comments are going to be...
End of the season. End of the season and see where we go.
So you can correct it. Okay, Super Kev will take us out.
All right, listen, always a pleasure having Jordan on. Listen, he always brings some fire to the table, doesn't he? Always. Some hot sauce, which is great. But he will work on that mentality, squaddies. You know we've got the different mentality over here. Sophie, hostess with the mostest as always. Fantastic. But most of all, squaddies, I've got to thank you for joining us. Thanks ever so much. Hit the like button on the way out, just like Vinny's doing. And you know what comes next, squaddies. We love you and at ease, squaddies. At ease.
Mind the gap between the train and the platform. Please stand clear of the discussion doors. The next stop is Highbury Squad.